Yo, hello guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to try something new again. I've made a one video before I kind of feel like I want to make more of it. Let's watch Joe Rogan's let's watch okay, firstly, let's watch Joe Rogan's channel, GRE Clips. His full podcast is available on Spotify. So check that out. Joe Rogan's everybody knows a very the highest quality, I mean, the most popular podcaster, highest quality podcast in my book. Yeah, so Spotify. So in YouTube, fortunately, we still have some of the clips and not short clips as well. Let's say, for example, this clip with Alex Jones right here, 18 minutes. So let's watch it.
Hello, freak bitches.
Got back in with Alex and spent a little bit of time hanging around with him and Roger Stone and so on, and got really interested in the kind of dynamics of how Alex.
Oh, sorry, it's not Alex Jones. It's John Ronson talking about Alex Jones.
Communicate to each other. But I'm wondering, you've seen Alex more recently than I have.
Well, Alex has been my friend since.
Oh, I'm sorry again, guys. I'm not going to watch full videos. I'm just going to watch some and react to some because I want you guys to go to his channel and watch his videos. A lot of failures. It's worth it, guys.
1998.
Yeah, I was at his custody trial not long ago, and you were brought up. You were brought
Oh,
up
that's
as
right, because he was
evidence.
smoking pot on my show.
He was
Yeah.
smoking pot.
Hey,
Exactly.
well, I'm just testing it.
That's
See,
right.
George Soros makes the weed stronger.
That's what he said. He said that in
Yeah.
his custody trial.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said he tests it once a year.
Just because he's
It's weird because
he's
it's like
alarmed at
I'm
how
always
strong
there
it's
when
going.
that happens.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to skip because the first part is not. I don't understand the context of this first part.
I think it benefits everyone to think that Alex, because it makes Trump look bad.
Yeah.
So it benefits people on the left to say that Alex is connected to Trump.
Yeah.
It kind of benefits Alex, I think, for people to think it too, because it aggrandizes him.
Well, it helps him in a way. I mean, it's like the people that there's a bunch of people that enjoy Alex, right? So some of them enjoy it for the theater. There's a theater element of it all, you know. I mean, and it's all doom and gloom, and then some people enjoy because, like Bohemian Grove, occasionally he's correct. Like Bohemian Grove.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. Just want to tell you guys, like I was watching YouTube like from the early decades of YouTube, and Alex Jones was there alongside with I remember Young Turks when they were still new. They were like a competing channel as well. So one of the most entertaining channels for news or some kind of podcast of the past, right? Or radio shows are like Alex Jones is one of those. Alex Jones show is one of those.
Grove is a real mind fuck. When you see all these super rich people wearing robes,
Right. Well, I was
burning
there.
an effigy,
I was in the crowd
yeah.
with all the old men of wealth and
Did
power.
that freak you out? You see those people?
One thing freaked me out. Like Alex came out of our Bohemian Grove night with a varying interpretation of
What was your interpretation?
My interpretation is basically with one caveat. I'm about to caveat this.
Okay.
My interpretation was that it's just like fucking Skull and Bones or
Yeah, I
some sort
agree.
of Harvard Club,
Agree.
and
But those are all creepy, right?
yeah, and they want to. There does seem to be amongst the American ruling elites. There does seem to be a proclivity for ritual.
Yeah.
Maybe amongst the British elites as well. I'm not sure, but that's in itself psychologically interesting.
I think secrets too.
Right. So it's like, why? So that is interesting. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, Alex Jones likes conspiracy theories. He talks about aliens. He talks about governmental U.S. government's conspiracy stuff. Interesting indeed.
And if the ritual at Bohemian Grove, and I would contend that, contrary to what Alex implied, they weren't actually sacrificing a child.
No, he didn't say they were sacrificing a child.
Oh, in it,
Did
in
he say
his,
it at some point in
in
time?
his video, yeah,
Oh,
it could
was
be
actually
real.
a child. It could be real.
I don't know what they were talking about, but I do remember one episode of Joe Rogan's podcast where Alex Jones was there, and he was really funny guy. He was so good. And he talked about there's a secret meeting where people were worshiping Moloch, like a cult meeting with prominent rich people being a member. And Moloch in the Bible is there's controversy, but let's not get into that. But Moloch is the god where people committed child sacrifices to. So he wasn't saying that these people are committing child sacrifices, but they were worshiping Moloch. Probably there were some sexual activities with children, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Could be real, ladies and gentlemen. It could be real.
He probably was so jazzed up that they were actually dressed up like monks with the hoods, and they have the Moloch, the owl god. When he was actually there,
Yeah, this is what he was talking about.
That probably ramped up his love of conspiracy like a good solid 300 or 400%.
It was hilarious.
I'm going to
We
reduce
went
the volume,
separately
guys.
Because Alex got it into his head that maybe I was part of the Bohemian Grove.
Oh, you're
plot.
like deep inside.
Yeah, like the Wicker
Yeah.
Man, that I was like luring him in, and he would be the one sacrificed in the belly of the owl.
Oh no.
So he went in separately to me. He went via the undergrowth,
Mm.
and I went up the drive. I just went up the driveway and gave.
Okay.
security guard.
Now I remember it correctly. I'm sorry, guys. There were no children sexual activities with children. I mean, what was it that I remembered is that Alex Jones talked about how these people were securing each other by actually like not these people in particular, how prominent people actually do like purposely do, even though they didn't like it, they do like some heinous stuff just so that their secrets could be had by by the sect or the other people, so that they wouldn't leak out information, or they could be hold on to something. And then they had, the community had something on them. That was what I picked up from his explanation. It could be because he's talking about rich people and powerful people, could be like these people are included, but it's not these people in particular. And I think Mr. John Ronson here was one of those people that Alex Jones was talking about. And I'm not saying that Alex Jones was factual, right? There are a lot of people who said that he's wrong and he was lying, or probably he got it there it was not right. So
I rule the world wave, and then we went in there.
That's all you had to do?
Yeah. I mean,
Lazy
probably
ass
not now.
security guards.
Yeah. The
God,
guy
that's
said.
so often the case.
Yeah. So.
It's like the White House.
And then we saw Alex and Mike Hansen, who was his producer at the time, walking like towards us. And I was with this local lawyer who we talked up with, and I was like, "Hey, Alex, Mike, how you doing?" And they were like, "Keep walking. There's cameras in the trees. There's owls everywhere." And then there's
Owls?
Yes, because
So you felt like the owls were cameras?
they got it into their heads that the owls at Bohemian Grove, the owl motifs at Bohemian Grove, was indicative of the fact that it was like Moloch, the owl god.
Yeah.
And it was like some sort of satanic. But actually, I would say that the reason why there's all those owls, because I saw like stuffed owls in display cabinets and so on. But I think it's an owl sanctuary.
okay. Okay, so that was what Alex Jones was talking about. Owl, the Moloch is represented by the image of owl, right? So Mr. John Ronson here said it was an owl sanctuary. It was a place where our owls were protected. It was not a sect or a cult or something like that.
I mean, but anyway, but I
so
want to.
why do they stuff them then?
Well,
Some owls.
No, I don't know.
presume-
I don't know whether it was. He was saying that it was not a sect or a cult, but it's not. Alex Jones was wrong. Was not Moloch.
it died of natural causes.
Oh,
If
they
it-
miss it.
Shitty fucking sanctuary. If they kill it, then stuff it.
So it's sort of like Norman Bates' mom and Psycho. Stuff her.
But what was odd that night
was one thing.
The oddest moment, and this is where my memory of the night does tally with Alex, is that for whatever reason, the people in the crowd were really into this ceremony. Like there was a sort of, they were really...
Okay, so it's probably also a cult where, because there's a ceremony and people were so invested into that ceremony. Okay, I don't know, guys. It's Joe Rogan thing. A lot of, like, if you watch Joe Rogan recently, and he had a case where a lot of people canceled him, right? But again, he wasn't actually advocating for anti-vaccine. He explained it in his video that he was he was just interviewing, and he was getting different perspective from different people. So I wish like the audience would draw their own conclusion, but I also am trying to make sure you guys that like this there's not a this is the story about Bohemian Grove sect right here is just a hearsay. There's no like actual footage or whatsoever, and people are talking about this. It's just interesting to talk about. Let's not accuse people and point finger and make a crucial high stakes decision based on things that are not clear. Okay, now I'm going to watch another video because I probably don't have enough background on this, guys. I don't have enough background on a lot of things, but this is hard. This is hard for me. Let's go and watch other stuff. Um, I like watching Bill Burr. Um, okay, let's watch Bill Burr.
Hello, freak bitches. You know what I've been watching lately? This fucking ridiculously addictive in some fucked up way is $1 Million Listing. You ever watch that show? Do you know what it is? It's
Yes.
these gay guys are selling houses.
Yes, my wife watches that show with that fucking the gay guy who lives in Connecticut.
So you
Who
like?
is like
yes,
so
yes,
coiffed
he's ridiculous.
And so he looks like he's like claymation.
Yes.
He doesn't look like a real person. His teeth are
Yes.
so white.
I am the #1 real estate agent in all of New York.
I like when
I'm
he's
the best.
I love that guy, and I
Yeah.
love when he starts speaking. What does he speak? Swedish?
Yes.
And out of nowhere, he
There
just
he
buzzes.
is.
No, that's not the guy.
That's not him.
That's not him.
Oh,
No,
that's the one from No, that's the other one. The one on the
down
far
on the right. On the right.
Yeah, the
You
far
gotta.
right guy. That guy.
That's
yeah,
the fucking
him.
guy.
There he is. Oh, the one in the middle looks a lot like him. God, that's weird.
They
look
all
alike.
have on lipstick.
They look exactly the same. $1 Million Listing. That's Los Angeles. That's the different one.
Yeah, the one in New York. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the one on the far
fucking
left. He's
Gestapo
hilarious.
fucking gay dude. I love that guy.
So they are talking about a series, I guess, in a streaming site, like series movies or series TV series something.
So the guy in the middle is there. I haven't seen that guy before. I've only seen the one in New York with the male model in the middle. There's a male
The one on
model.
the right is an angry psycho like me. The dude in the middle is sort of a middle ground, and then the other
Okay,
guy.
I'm going to
is
skip,
like,
guys,
He's
a
right out
little
of
bit.
Hogan's Heroes.
That strip. Here's
Uh-huh.
the first couple of buildings. It's right there. I mean, it's fucking right there.
Right.
But it's they wanted $20 million from it. And the listing.
Haven't
guy-
watched
These
the
are
show.
those are true because like the last episode I watched is like the gay Gestapo guy is sitting there going. He walks in to this lady, and he just goes, "Okay, here's the offer. The final offer they can give you is $11.3 million." And then she just
I saw that one.
She read him the write
I told you, no
Don't
negotiations.
come in here, waste my fucking time, blah, blah, blah. And he's just sitting there going like, oh my God, you know? And I was surprised he took that level of shit. I
They
was
have
waiting
to.
for it to be like, lady, it's not my fault you think it's worth $15 million. You
Can't talk
fucking
like that.
lunatic. Yeah, you can't do that. So he just sits there and listens. And then she leaves. And I'm like, holy shit, they finally didn't sell a house. And then just boom, 2 seconds later, somebody calls up. Oh, after he does the whole, she walked out the door. It was like winter in Russia, right? And he fucking all of a sudden somebody calls up out of nowhere and just goes, all right, 11.6 final offer, that's it. And then he calls the lady up, and then she's all just like, see, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's the exact show I watched.
Yeah, and I was
watched
just
that
like,
exact
that was too easy.
And there's the handsome model who just takes his shirt off all the time. He's ripped. That guy with the Jewish fellow with the long hair.
My wife likes him.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
Women like him.
Yeah, it's an interesting duo. Joe Rogan and Bill Burr talking. These are two really good comedians. Yeah, Joe. The way Bill Burr tells the story always cracks me up. There's always something. It reminds me. Like initially, I was hooked up already. Like the first time I saw his jokes, I hooked up already on his sense of humor. Right. So every time I hear him speak, I always reminded to that experience, and he's always like not disappointing. Right. He's really good, and like even when he was not trying, or like you could understand like his being true to his not his persona, quite not quite his persona, but his style, I guess. And then you could understand like his where like it's Bill Burr. And then Joe Rogan as well, like no question, like he's a podcaster, he's also a comedian. So he can, I think in this particular podcast, right, Joe Rogan has been doing really really well because he assisted a lot of good moments in this podcast, and you should watch this podcast if you haven't already. uh, I'm pretty sure it's available in full in Spotify. Okay, how long has it been? Only 16 minutes, so let's do more of this, guys. Um, I- Megan Phelps. Megan Phelps is that, I don't know who she is. Probably I know Michael
Hello,
Phelps.
freak bitches. What's incredibly brave is that you, deep into your 20s, have this revelation and then have the courage to escape. And so I want to get back to that. Like, what was your job? Like, what was the first job
Okay,
you
no,
got?
she's not related to Michael Phelps. She's political activist who was formerly a member of the Westboro Baptist Church, a Calvinist. Right, so Westboro Baptist Church really hates gay people, if I'm not mistaken. If I have remembered it correctly, yeah, they're like fanatical Christian that is like persecuting people and stuff.
I didn't get a job immediately. I thought I had to. I thought I have to be responsible. Like, of course, I'm with my sister. Like, we had some money saved. Just we lived at home. We didn't have a lot of expenses. Like, we used our money to travel across the country picketing, but we still had some money.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
We gotta get out there.
Okay, the title here, excuse me, guys. The title here says First Amendment protecting unpopular speech. Let me post the link first. So it's talking about free speech, and I I care a lot about this actually. Please wait for a bit. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me, guys. Let me post. Okay.
Piss people off.
Well, and it was I thought it was the greatest. Like, I thought, like, it was always exciting. Like, oh, are you going on this picket trip? Yeah, I'm going to Los Angeles.
Oh
We're
my
gonna picket
god! So it's
Scientology.
just like a part of life.
Yeah,
You guys used to picket Scientology?
a little.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I remember doing it in Clearwater once too. It was super boring. Like, there was nobody out there. You gotta rank the pickets by, like, I don't know, George W. Bush's second inauguration was like insane.
Oh, was it?
And then there's like Scientology.
Oh yeah, that was like post 9/11. Must have
Yeah.
been really rough to
Yeah.
hold up those signs.
Yeah, especially we had a sign that said "Thank God for 9/11."
Oh god, damn it.
And it was like we were stationed like at the intersection of these three streets, and they were blocked off for the parade. So like he finishes his inauguration speech, and this like huge crowd of people, like hundreds of how many
Oh my god.
thousands of people like flood down this thing, and then they're stuck in this intersection waiting to go right past us on this sidewalk. And so there was like this they're seeing this like "Thank God for 9/11," and it was right after the tsunami too. so my mom had a son, was holding the thank God for the tsunamis or whatever, and like so people are just enraged by the time they actually got to us. So like we're standing like right at the edge of these barricades, like so on the other side is the parade route, and so like people were like jumping, like some guy jumped on my back, like on one another, like stealing signs and like
Jumped on your back.
yeah, like so I was like leaning over the barricade so he couldn't steal my signs. Sorry, I'm not getting away from the mic. And so like one of my cousins actually like gave his signs to another church member and then was like standing on top of a trash can, like going, come on you guys, like just don't worry about them, they're not worth it, like my cousin who was just because it got so physical, like people and like the cops.
So
like,
you're saying you guys aren't worth it?
he was trying to pretending like he was
one
not,
of them.
yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Subterfuge.
that one got pretty pretty dicey. But
did it get violent? Like the guy who jumped on your back, like what did he do?
So I'm holding my signs and I'm like I've tucked myself into this barricade, so like there's nothing else he can do.
Right.
So there was I should also say there were cops just on the other side of the barricade, just like every 5 feet there was a cop. I think there was like maybe 14,000 cops in DC that day because it was first inauguration after 9/11. So anyway, I mean, the cops were mostly just standing there. Like I look over, the guy gets off, and like my brother is standing next to me, who's 7 or 8 years. He would have been like early 20s, and I see, and then when he jumped over the barricade because the way people were coming after us, and this cop like pulls out a club to. And making us get back over jump back over on the other side, like with these people who were and not really doing anything. But
But did you expect the cops to risk their lives, even though you're obviously provoking people? I mean, you're obviously putting yourself in a situation where you're saying.
Yeah, from what I remember, the Westboro Baptist Church has this usually do like demonstration and stuff to actually harass and being very unpleasant towards other people. So I guess in terms of free speech, should you let people do something like that? Is it okay to be very unpleasant, or is it okay to be insulting, or even okay, so the answer is, in my opinion, like, what are the laws, what are people's rights? Okay, a lot of these protests, a lot of this thing that a lot of objection against free speech is towards this unpleasantness. It's if the reason behind it is that these speeches are provocation against other people's rights. Okay, so if that is the case, like for example, gays, for example, deserves to die, or probably this race should be eliminated from the earth. So that's definitely is not, you could say that's free speech, but that's definitely something that is not doesn't supposed to be allowed. And um because that is against other people's rights. Okay, um but I do think that free speech should be allowed in terms of other stuff, that, like for example, your reputation. Is your reputation yours? Can you say that your reputation is yours? If someone perform a slander based on lies, um, and that would put you in danger, that is again a violation against your rights. But if someone was talking about the truth, and it is not beneficial to your reputation, that shouldn't be, that should be protected, I mean. So again, does free speech actually attacking other people? Or, of course, you shouldn't break the law. That's definitely, like, free speech rights is based on the law, so you shouldn't break the law. But beyond that, is your free speech attacking other people's property? For example, is your free speech is trying to make other people poor, or making the society as a whole poorer, but um, for maliciously, in terms of it's hard to say, right? Because when you say like, oh, this country's economy right now is not really good, so people would not invest a lot in that company. Is that does that fall under malicious intent, or does that fall under doesn't supposed to be protected? I think that's still supposed to be protected, but where's the line is it's pretty hard to determine the line. So let's hear more.
Something incredibly insulting and just devastating to all these people that lost friends or loved ones on 9/11 or in the tsunami or have family members that are gay. I mean,
Right.
did you guys really expect the cops are going to take the beating for you, or the cops are going to get involved?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we thought that it was like it's their job,
But
right?
if they didn't, you would never do what you did then, right? Like, what if someone passed some sort of a law saying, listen, you guys know what you're in for. We have no desire to help you. There would be no police presence. Would you still protest?
Well, we did that. And some cops did respond that way.
Did they say like there will be no police presence whatsoever?
Yeah, and some
Where was that at?
can't remember it, but it happened
more than once?
More than once, yeah, for sure. And like sometimes the cops we'd say we're going to come to protest this, something, and they would say, you can come, but you can't hold that sign, or you can't
They would tell you.
step on the flag or whatever. Sometimes they'd tell us in advance. Sometimes they would wait till we got
You guys
there.
would step on the flag?
Yeah, like desecrating the flag was we saw it as an idol, and the American flag is an idol. Actually, my mom got arrested. We were in Nebraska, and my little brother, we were protesting a soldier's funeral, and we were like far away from the church. But there was a group of people on the other side of the street, and they were all holding American flags all the way from the road all the way up this, the long entry to the church. So we were quite far away. And my brother was 9 years old at the time, and he did what he always did, which was, lay the American flag on the ground and stand on top of it and hold a picket sign. And within like a couple of minutes, 9 cops showed up and started talking about arresting my mother for flag mutilation and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And
So definitely, like, insulting a flag is is forbidden in any country, including in my country as well. So that's where's the line where free speech is okay, and where's the line where free speech, obviously any speech, right, is speech, and if you say free, then any speech should be like people could talk. People should be able to freely talk. Okay, that should be protected. Definitely, yes. But there be a line in terms of protecting that right, or should we let people to talk whatever they wanted? Where's the line? Definitely yes. And where's the line should be drawn? Okay. So this is in for me personally, this is hard to tell, but when it happens, you would know. You know what I mean? How do I say it? Right. Like for example, someone said, "I don't like this movie. I don't like this movie," and that movie sales could be affected. But you should be able to protect that, right? But if one said that, oh, this certain race should not be allowed to work because or working in high paying salaries because they would ruin their jobs because of their genetic components and stuff, and that should not be allowed. And I think that is racial discrimination. So definitely, if it is a lie, right? If it is a lie, you shouldn't do that. Or is it if it is something that is like against another law, like in this case, freedom from discrimination, right? If it's against another law, that's that. So free speech, you want to combine that into what's the relationship with another law? Does the free speech is interferes with what's trying to be protected with another law? Does it harm another line? because speech could permeate through boundaries, right? Is it permeating boundaries lawlessly, or does it permeates boundaries in a way that is because when we talk about protecting, that means we are trying to draw a line for general purposes, right? It's we are not being specific, okay? So it's hard, so it's pretty hard. um yeah, where's this general line actually? Because the case per case basis is so how do we supposed to deal with this actually? I'm not really sure.
So before they do the arrest, again, my mom and my uncle were both there, and they are both lawyers. And my uncle's like, Johnson versus Texas, the Supreme Court said in that case that you can mutilate. Not only can you mutilate a flag, you can even burn it, and that's perfectly lawful. And one of the cops was like, "We're not in Texas, we're in Nebraska." So, like, this is obviously a Supreme Court case. And he said the Supreme Court has jurisdiction all over the country. So, in other words, I guess what I'm saying is like the way that sometimes sometimes there were really good cops who did their job and were super professional and didn't let their beliefs about our religious beliefs or what they thought about our message get in the way of them doing their job. But sometimes they did. Sometimes they would threaten to arrest, our parents if they brought children. They would take their children away from them, things like that. But we absolutely expected them to do their jobs like that. That was, and this is the Supreme Court. Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not justifying it, but it's from the point of view of something like me. Someone like me, I would say, don't bring any cops there. No, if you start that kind of shit at a funeral or for a soldier and a bunch of people come by and beat your ass, well then don't do that again, because you're pissing people off and you're hurting their feelings and you're dealing with someone who's already emotionally scarred. Those cops need to be out there stopping robberies and breaking and enterings into people's houses and carjackings, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be like helping out people who are intentionally provoking and emotionally disturbing people.
Right, but I mean, so obviously from the church's perspective, it's like this. These are sincerely held religious beliefs, and the First Amendment. Like, what good is the First Amendment? Like, this obviously this.
But it's not a First Amendment issue. Like because it's no one in an official position is saying you cannot speak.
Well, so compare that to like the campus. What's going on these campuses, right? So you think that the cops shouldn't be there to protect those people? They're provoking people and making them.
Right. So again, case per case basis, guys. If it's in a funeral, can you imagine that? Why is it supposed to be okay to do that? That is so weird. That is so weird. In case of the campus, there's a good reason. For example, education, provoking thoughts, provoking debates or discussion. That makes sense. But in a funeral, so guys, it was really hard to draw the line, to draw a general line in terms of free speech. But you know what? Between boundaries, right? Between two extremes, there's probably if you had to draw the middle line, you could probably draw two lines close to this side and close to that side. So you know what? I'm going to try to do that. What's not okay, that what's definitely not okay in terms of free speech, like I said, it is against the law, it is against people's rights, it's against another, it's conflicting with another law, and it's attacking it. Yeah, it and should free speech be prioritized over that law? A lot of times no. Okay. In support of free speech, the definite line would be you should be able to say something that is unpleasant but true. Okay, you are not saying things that are, even if you are wrong, right? You should still be able to say it. um and like you, if you are like trying to slander other people, then that's a different case. But if you're say something wrong because you genuinely not know of what's the right information, or you genuinely believe on that information, and yeah, it you have no intention of unfairly unfairly mislead people, then I think, right, for example, you said, for example, jesus christ Jesus Christ has come the second time yesterday, right? You truly believe this because some kind of uh, priest in some kind of church told you that. And a lot of people are misled by this. A lot of people, let's say, uh, ran back and stopped working, go back to their bunker and not going out. So that's quite a damage done. But should you be arrested because of that? I don't think so. Okay. Now, where's the middle line? Where does these two lines meet? Hard. It's hard.
I'm angry.
Well,
Right?
it's a different sort of a scenario. I think the cops should definitely be there to prevent violence on campus for several reasons. One reason, because I think you're dealing with very young, very impressionable people who make very poor choices and feel justified because they're around a bunch of people that also have like minded ideas, a lot of peer pressure, a lot of diffusion of responsibility that comes from these mass groups of people that are acting, and the mob mentality that comes along with that. I think it's very, very important to protect them from themselves, and it's a hot button issue. I think protesting at a soldier's funeral is just gross.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know you do.
Yeah.
I know you do. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think the cops have a responsibility to save you from being gross.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously this was a Supreme Court case. It became a, did you know there was a case where we were sued by the church, and
Yeah, I do remember that. How'd that play out?
it went on. First they won a $10.9 million verdict against us at the trial court, and then it was reversed at the appeals court, and the Supreme Court said 8-1. It's a constitutional right for them to do this. This is their religious beliefs. They have a right. They were, especially the,
I gotta tell you guys, this woman is pretty. She's gorgeous.
because I mean, sometimes I will say, like, I described to you that very first soldier's funeral picket that I went to, like, that was very close quarters. You know, we were right up on top of them. Like, if we had chosen to sing or, that, they would have heard us. But in a lot of instances, we were way far away. Like in the instance that went to the Supreme Court, they were more than 1,000 feet away. There was like a hill. The family didn't see church members, things like that. There was, so, I mean, they have a right to do it.
Who has a right?
Well, the church. I mean,
right. Okay. They have a right to decide.
They have a right to do it.
To say horrible things about someone who just died or someone who lost a son or a daughter in war.
Yeah, I think obviously I think it's terrible that they do it. And that was actually one of the things, before my sister and I left, that was one of the, I wasn't going to hold a sign that I didn't believe was true. And I wasn't going to go to any more funeral protests.
Right, but do you think that the police should? I mean, they're operating on tax dollars, and it's a limited amount of resources.
Well, we're taxpayers, right? I mean,
sure you are, but do you think that the resources should go to
hard to get out of the we mentality?
Right, yeah. I know. But do you think that really that the cops, that's an intelligent and adequate and fair use of resources to go and protect a bunch of troublemakers?
So it depends on how do you feel about the First Amendment? Like it's the principle of the thing rather than the applications. Like this is just one application. Like so.
So who's to decide whether or not it's right?
That's the whole idea. Like so, we have not entrusted our government to decide what opinions are acceptable and what aren't. So they don't get to have so.
Right, but it seems like you're organizing this. So if you're organizing this sort of antagonistic display where you're gonna hurt someone's feelings at a very dangerous time.
Right.
Don't you think you should hire your own security? Like, why should the police have to be there to secure you?
Because it's the law. Like they are.
You know what? I think I get something out of this again. I think there's got to be good intention, right? You don't get to talk without good intention. I think there's something. I'm not saying that that's defining it, but I think that contributes to it. Do you have an ill intention, or what's your intention here? What's the purpose of you doing the speech, right? Is it out of malice, or even if it's malicious, right? Is it justified? Is it for self-protection, or is it because of atrocities committed by the other party, or is it right? Relatively speaking, self-protection, or you're trying to smooth out your business and you don't want any disturbance, and sometimes it's not good doing that. People like disturb people could disturb you if they wanted it, if they are not breaking the law, but sometimes the disturbance are also uh, out of line. Okay, so if that disturbance is out of line, your your speech, your unpleasant speech, not unpleasant speech should be fine, but your malicious speech could you could really understand it came from a place where you wanted to secure your life. Okay. Still, I'm not saying I already found it, but I think there's a point in that, in closing in the gap. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you again in the next video. Please watch the original videos, and the links is available right here, guys. And then we still have another 6 minutes left, so that's a lot of Joe Rogan still available, thankfully. And yeah, what else? I'm sure there are a lot more interesting stuff in the official channel. See you later. Goodbye.